So as we start to move down the factory, you'll see there's lots of different geometry visible, and this has all come from varying data types. So here we've got 2D data, 3D data, architectural data, scan data, and this is really one of the major benefits of Theorem software. It's that we're able to consume all these different data types and present them to you in a way that you can see them and you can make new decisions that you couldn't make before. So as an example of representing cognitive scale, we've got a factory press working area here. You can move around this area, and just being immersed in the area gives you a sense of how the operator is going to use it. And you can review things like component placement, so in relation to the machinery itself, are these components in the correct location? And similarly, you can start to make decisions on the whole layout itself. So is this factory machinery going to clash with any of the steelwork, any of the lighting? And considering the doors and the entrances, is it suitable, and how are we going to get it into this area? So as you've seen, we have traditional VR movement tools, but with factory planning, due to the scale of some of the sites, we've also introduced alternate methods of navigating around. The first being waypoints. This allows you to specify known locations that you can cycle between. You'll see I've jumped to the packaging area, I can go to the line, and I can return back to the press area. So we've also got the minimap. This gives you a scale plan view of your environment that again you can use to navigate around with. So with this you've got full control over what you're doing. So you can see your whole environment, you can set the height which you want to see it at. If you've got multiple stories, you can set the zoom value. And we've got all the same things in here, so you can view all of the waypoints. So again, you can hop between those. And if you're in a multi-user session, you can see all the different users that are currently with you. It's just a great way to review your whole environment in one go. So there's a number of features and tools and functionalities that we can use. I'm going to try and show you just a few to give you some ideas about the kinds of things you can do. So here we've got an example cobot working area. It appears to be 3D static geometry, but it's actually motion replay data. So it's got all the motion data built in and recorded. So the machining paths that these robots work in can be replayed, and we brought those through into this working area. So again, it's to help you make decisions. And similarly, we've got a mannequin placed here. So obviously, he's going to have to work in close proximity to these robots. And it's all about understanding the safety. And if there's a working area with cobots and humans, is it okay and safe to use? And similarly to that, we can also have dimension information. So we've got a working area here, it's a small production line, a small roller. And is it a safe environment between these two areas? So what we can do is start to measure things. So there's a number of measuring tools, as you can see. So if I select point to point, I can say, okay, what is that clearance? So as you can see, here we've got a 750mm gap. So what we can do now is we can walk into this area, and obviously being in VR, we experience it. We understand how it feels, and you get a real sense of, this feels too tight to me as a user. It feels, not like a good working area. And what we can do is also use mannequins to represent this. So we've got static mannequins available here. We can drop a mannequin in at full scale, and you can position that mannequin in many different ways. And put them how to suit you really, how to make your judgments. So we can get this guy leaning into the rack, and as you can see, he has his ergonomic sphere that enables us to see his reach. Based obviously on the metrics for the 95th percentile man, so he leans in there and we can see, okay, he can perform his job in this area, but this area is still too small. So what we can do is come back out and we can move these parts. All these parts have been added in as separate components from different systems. And what we can do is select, grab, and just move that. We can pull it out and say, okay, what's this new clearance? Let's make it a meter. Okay, this now feels correct. And what we can do is say, well, we can record this. We can add a comment. So let's record what's done, what we've just done. I can grab a picture. So as you see, if I click comments, record and picture in this case, I can grab an image of what change I've made and I can record a comment against that. So I can type some information in based on what I've done. And what happens here is then this is stored away against the session that we've created in Theorem server. And you'll have these stored against the session for future review. So in the future, if you need to come back and think what was done, what changes were made, what was I doing, you'll have all those comments recorded. And in this instance, I've added an image, but equally we can also add audio, text, video, and all stored against the session. So it's purely based on what you want to do and how you want to use it. It's a feature there that you can utilize. So if we take a walk down the line now, you'll obviously see a lot of bits of geometry placed around, tools, racking, rollers, and all of this has been loaded in from Theorem's Experience server, and it's fully interactive. So as I showed previously, you can move components. If I grab this here, you can see I can pick it up, I can spin it, I can put it wherever I want. You've also got the capability of removing it entirely, so if I select delete, you can delete that component. And you've got full access to a server full of your components. So they're all managed and stored, and from within application you can just access whichever data you need. So if you come in to add a component, you can filter through the different libraries. So if you've got them set in racks or bins or whatever it might be, you can select the library and then add the component. So grab gives you basic functionality, you can pick it up, move it around quickly, but we've got a full toolkit for alignment, grouping, copy and pasting components. They're all in here to use. So as I mentioned at the start, one of the major benefits of the factory layout experience is being able to do this work collaboratively. So as you can see here, we've got a requirement for a new CMM machine at the end of this line. And rather than me demoing that to you on my own, I'm going to create a new session and invite more users in. So if I leave this session, when I click leave, you can see I can save the session. And obviously saving the session records all the changes and things that I've made. All the comments I've added all get recorded and stored on the server. And then if I click home, I can come in and start a new session.